Hey everyone, I hope you all can hear me loud and clear. I am Nathan. I'll be hosting today's event, the Mastering 90 Essential Skills and Concepts. I said that kind of backwards. Anyway, long story short, we'll be going over the process tool. So if you aren't familiar with it, you are familiar with it, you may learn something new here in this webinar today. Now, before we get started, as people are still rolling in, I'm going to send in this poll real quick. I'm going to launch a couple of them here. So feel free to answer these questions real quick. I got two more coming your way too as well, so get ready for those. Thank you very much. Got a couple more coming in. Actually, they're only gonna let me do it one at a time. So that being said, go ahead and fill out that first poll right there, and we'll get started here with the course. And welcome everybody. Happy Thursday. Flash movie comes out if y'all didn't know about that. Anyway, just to give you a heads up, 90 is a revolutionary cloud-based software, and it's going to provide mid to sized companies with the core tools needed to grow and also thrive. That being said, 90's platform integrates data, process, and people into one comprehensive system so you can achieve your short and also your long-term goals while still accelerating the company's vision. Okay, I have some information here that kind of depicts all that detail there. Again, if you do have questions too, by the way, everyone, feel free to chime down below in the Q&A section. I will have a section open for us 10 minutes after or 10 minutes prior to the end of this webinar to ask those particular questions. Thank you again for filling this out. A lot of people using 90, a lot of people using EOS. No Pinnacle Empire Fireproof, but just give you a heads up too, by the way, even if you are using the EOS, even if you are using 90, or whatever software, even if you're not using software, just keep in mind when it comes to the BOS, the Business Operating System, the language may be a little bit different, but the objectives are going to be the same. So if you have any kind of questions about the language, feel free to chime in and ask me, okay? All right, so that being said, that's me on my one wheel right there. I'm a senior software trainer. I've been with 90 since 2021. I've been using, some kind of form of BOS since 2018. Like I said before, we have Pinnacle, we have Empire Fireproof, and you are using 90 and EOS. So the list is constantly growing. So like I said before, if the language seems a little bit off to you, just let me know and I'll show. And just keep in mind the objective, like I said, is going to be the same. And also too, you can always customize your languages too as well if you are owner or admin on the account to kind of match what your organization needs are. That being said, I was the client success manager. Prior to this, I transitioned into education, and I'll be diving in as deep as I can into the tool. Just keep in mind, everyone, I am not an implementer. I am a software trainer, so I will teach you the ins and outs of the tool, but I will also go over all the best practices that you may encounter or that I've encountered with many organizations in the past. Fun fact about me, I just purchased the one wheel. You can see me here on the floor right there. I went to an electric expo not too long ago, and I was inspired to get one. I thought it was good because I had a coach there like guiding me through it, but once I got it home, I didn't master it just yet, as you can see here. But I'm getting there slowly, but surely. All right, so thank you for that poll. I'm gonna go ahead and end that one. I'm gonna start another one up for you. Give me 1 second here. All right, here comes poll number 2. All right, so how long have you been using the platform? Go for it and fill that information out. Just kind of gives me a feel for, who's in the audience, how deep should I go into the actual tool itself too as well. All right, cool beans. Looking good, looking good. All right, so it's about even for everyone. A lot of people started here brand new, which is perfectly fine too as well. So this is going to be for everybody, everyone. Let's see here. Now, one thing I want to point out too as well is that, let me go to the next slide here. So in the bottom right-hand corner of your box there, you may notice that little chat bubble. So that chat bubble is going to follow you about this software. If you have any questions or any concerns, someone will be available to help you out 7 days a week. in regards to answering specific questions, pointing you in the right directions when it comes to navigating the tool. So if there's something that you may have missed here, maybe you can get a one-on-one call with a client success manager that can help assist you and push you forward into the direction of with your team. So they will upload information for you up to a year's worth, by the way, kind of give you the insight on how the tool works and also getting ready, everyone turning in the right direction. That being said, too, you can also explore this tool, and we'll explore it a little bit later, but it kind of allows you to see all the briefs that's associated with it too as well. All right. All right. So just keep in mind that if you have any questions, any type of concerns, like I said before, for those coming in, this will be an engaging conversation, a two-way dialogue, by the way. Even though it looks like I'm just talking to myself, I am monitoring the Q&A box here. So if you have any questions relative to this meeting, do not hesitate to ask me in real time. Although we will have a Q&A session at the end of this whole entire ordeal. So before we, thank you guys for filling that poll too. By the way, I'm gonna go ahead and end that one, and then I'm gonna do the last one right now. Boom, I'm gonna launch that one. All right. So one question here: how do you currently document and promote your process? Okay, so go ahead and answer that for me, and then we'll go ahead and get started here shortly. This is an awkward silence. I should play some music in the background now if I do this, but I didn't have any music available, and I want to get copyright strike. Can you get copyright strike on Zoom? All right. So looks like we have a lot of people actually using the process tool, which is awesome. 50% of us are using the process tool. Some of us are using spreadsheets as well, and you have it in the book somewhere. So awesome. We'll kind of get you pointed in the direction of the tool and make sure we clarify why it's such a better process for it, not only you, but everyone in the organization itself. All right, so thank you all for answering that question for me. I'm gonna go ahead and end that poll too to get this out of your way. All right, so that being said, let's go ahead and dive into it. All right, so here, what is the benefit of the process? Okay, so we have three options, or three information, or three bullet points here. Promote creativity, it's effective, and also it creates time. So remember, when we're talking about promoting creativity, a process is not written in stone. Okay, events and time may change the process. When it is documented for everyone, the process promotes collaboration, and it also promotes efficiency too as well. So when the time is right, the collaboration can refine the process through trial and error or through the feedback of the organization over time. So think of it like a car, right? So you may want to build a vehicle, and there's already a process in place. You know, when it comes to having a car, you have tires, you have windshield wipers, you have windows, doors, locks, whatever the case may be. But, you know, we may find that this process is not working as efficiently as it should. So we may start adding things to it, like air conditioning, cushion seats, whatever the case may be. But it's being built over time based off that template that you're following right now. So the process becomes a little bit more easier to manage because you're developing a routine with the whole entire organization. Now, when I say it's effective, it's only effective when it's followed by all. Okay, so. And I'm not just talking about one department in general, but the whole entire organization. Once it's established, no shortcuts are created in the process. So, you know, promoting discipline within the team is going to be a must. And if one department is not committed to the process in place, that could potentially tumble the whole entire organization in a good direction or a bad. And it normally is bad because everyone's not following that same path. So it steers down directly from the leadership team. Once the leadership team had the information established, you know, we'll start pouring out those accountabilities and developing a process that everyone must follow. All right. So, and lastly, too, here is going to create time. So, I mean, like I said before, if you have a system, it will initially become a routine for organizations to master. So you had to follow this process in and out. Promoting focus and also granting flexibility. It's kind of like, you know, your morning routine, right? You don't really have to think about it at all. You may have an alarm clock that kind of wakes you up. You get up, go to the restroom, brush your teeth, do all your personal hygiene, make breakfast. You have a routine in play. And when that routine is broken, things can fall apart. Now you're running late for work, or maybe you haven't got the kids ready. You got to go walk the dog. Whatever the case may be, if you start adding things to it, no one's following the rules, and everything tumbles in that direction. So that being said, it kind of goes back to my one wheel about freeing up time. So for example, when it comes to me on that electric scooter thing I had earlier, I have a process in place because I kept hurting myself. I'm hurt right now actually because of it. But I know if I follow the process, I may be a little bit more safer in the future. So, I know I got to charge up the one wheel. I got to sync it to my mobile app before I actually get onto it. Take everything out of my pocket so I don't break my phone again. And then also too, I got to put on my pads, put on my safety gear, and also just hope for the best, right? So I may include some more stuff in that process, but I'll start adding things as time goes on. All right. Any questions, comments, concerns so far? I don't see any questions coming in here so far. And you all can hear me clearly too, right? Just making sure. All right. So that being said, let's go ahead and dive into it a little bit. So this is what your process may look like. It may look a little bit different since some of you are already utilizing the software. Hold on, I got one question here. Let me go to it. Someone raise their hand. If you have questions, feel free to utilize it in the Q&A. I won't move forward. So everyone on the Zoom, is there a Q&A button there? If you click Q&A, go ahead and ask your question. I'll be able to answer it. Let me make sure there's no comments. I got to open up another chat to know see the comments there. All right, we're good to go. All right, so as you get those questions together, keep in mind the process within 90 is designed to help organizations document and also optimize their workflows as a process, right? And this tool typically provides a systematic approach to that, managing tasks, projects, overall business operations while still holding someone accountable. That's the most important piece right there, holding someone accountable. And navigating that process, you will have a predetermined 6 core processes at your disposal. Depending on your organization, you may have more. So if you look at here, we have a 6 here in this location. Initially, when you start your software, you're going to get these there listed. It's not going to have any details filled in, but you get marketing, you get sales, you get customer retention, you get operations, you get HR, and also too, you get accounting. Okay, so now it depends on your organization on which process you want to add or take away from this too, because as an average, I've seen organizations where they had maybe 10 processes associated with their account. And a lot of times these processes are derived from that departmental meeting, okay? Keep in mind, like I said before, whenever you are creating processes for your organization, you're gonna have the leadership team involved. And they'll come up with the process that's gonna be needed, and they're gonna hold someone accountable for it. So having the accountability chart built out is definitely a must, because you wanna make sure that you have the resources allocated to that individual to ensure that the process is being adequately pushed out to the whole entire organization. All right. So from here, let's go ahead and click into the next slide. All right. So here I got something for you all. So if you want more information on how to actually, I'm going to show you the steps to building your process. But if you want to learn how to create a detailed process in the future amongst things and other things of that nature, so go ahead and scan this code. I'll bring it back at the conclusion of the meeting, but just allow you to scan it. I'll send your email too as well, so you can have the information readily available. But it has a lot of tools that you can utilize, from process briefs to case studies too as well, to kind of give you a picture and an overview on how to execute your process, establish it, and make sure that everyone is adhering to that same ordeal. All right, so take a second to scan that information if necessary. And then from there, we're going to actually move on into the software itself. All right. All right, so everyone should be good there. Again, I'm gonna bring it back, so don't worry if you feel like I clicked off of it too fast. All right, so exploring the process. Okay, so in order to see the process, you would have to access the information from your toolbar. It's going to be available for everyone who has an active account. So let me go ahead and click into my actual software here. So you should be able to see this information. It may look a little bit different on your end because you may be utilizing EOS, may have a different color grade or whatever the case may be. But on the left-hand side, you have your toolbar that displays all the tools available to the software for those of you who are brand new. If you're looking for the process, it's going to be here in the bottom. It has this little icon here that says process, and you want to expand this particular toolbar, you can do so too. All the way in the bottom left-hand corner, click expand toolbar, and have the names there listed for you. Now, keep in mind, with the process comes specific permissions. Whoever is accountable for that process will be filling out that information. You can assign someone to the process, but they will have to be on the accountability chart. That being said, anyone in the organization, they can also see the process too. So when I click into here, click into the process, it's going to show all my processes that I have available for me. Anyone, even to the observer level, can see and view this information. So you want to get it out there to everyone to ensure everyone knows exactly who to go to in regards to maybe marketing, sales, whatever the department is going to be holding information in. Everyone's going to have the centralized location to find that specific process and make sure that everyone is turning in the same direction. And it's quite easy for anyone in the organization as long as they have an active account. And there's other ways to do it too as well. We can also print this out as a PDF, send it through email, things of that nature. So there's a lot of things you can do within this location. All right, so I'm going to navigate you through this process real quick and kind of show you the ropes in this location. You have, like I said before, your 6 core processes. You may have more within your organization. And it's documenting certain things that everyone's going to know. If you want to add additional processes to this location, there's a plus sign here to the right-hand side. This allows you to add a brand new core process to all of your processes. That being said, if you hit this plus sign here, this allows you to add a new step. And here allows you to view the details associated with the process. So I'm going to go ahead and click here for the HR. This is usually a typical one. I don't have anything filled out for this particular process, but I do have one for the other, and I'll show you how that looks like once it's all beefed up. All right. So that being said, if you are going to bring this into the attention of the leadership team to actually execute a process for everyone, you're going to have this little more actions button here. So typically you're going to be creating issues from this location, rocks, things like that. And this will allow you to pull this detail directly into the IDS section or the to-do section for someone to accomplish as a task. That being said, you'll have a link here too as well. So you can link that process out if necessary. And like I said before, this silhouette here in the right-hand side, this is actually pulling information from your accountability chart. So whenever you start your process, you're going to have your accountability chart built out first and ensuring that everyone knows their roles and responsibilities in relation to their specific seat. That being said, it'll have everyone's space there along with the seat name that they're available in. All right, so you're really going to build this process out in the description for the core process anyway. And then you're going to make sure that it is documented, okay? So once it is documented, you can click the yes or no here in this location in case you have everything filled out. Is it followed by all? These are the things that you want to verify to as well. So like I said before, when it comes to the process, you're not just, it's not just for one person to be viewing, right? This helps speed up time and things of that nature. So say, for example, if you're looking for a specific process, you don't have to jump through hoops and ask for someone who may not know exactly what's going on with that specific process. I feel like I'm saying process a lot. Anyway, long story short, you have a yes or no button here that can allow you to view, select that feature, and also to determine or not whether it's effective. So when I click the drop-down menu here, it's still another yes or no, but you're letting throughout the quarter, throughout the year, whatever the case may be, is this process still effective? If it's not, we're going to go back, revisit it, maybe update some information, maybe take some information out. Whatever the case may be, it's going to be constantly revisited. But until that time comes, everyone should be following that process to ensure that we can determine why it's ineffective or effective or why it's not followed and unfollowed, things like that. And then at the very bottom here, these are your KPIs, key performance indicators or scorecard measurables in some of your cases. So this is actually pulling information directly from your accountability or from your scorecard or your data sections. And when I click the plus sign here, it already have your scorecard measurables already predetermined. So if it's associated with this particular process, feel free to click that checkbox there and add that process or add that KPI to the process itself where it can be managed and monitored from that location. Okay. If you don't see your measurable there, you will have to go to the data section and actually create that specific measurable to be lined up with that process. All right, cancel that information there. So this is the process in this location. And once you have your process created, then you start creating sub-steps. So here, you can add new steps to this location here, add your title, add your description to the process, and then again, from the accountability chart, you're putting someone in that particular seat to drive that information forward. Okay, so I'm gonna show you what it looks like with actual details too. Remember, if you have any questions, any concerns, feel free to chime in the Q&A section and I'll be able to address it there. From here, I'm gonna go ahead and click on the sales option here. So you see I already got it documented. Yes. It's followed by all. Yes. Is it effective? Yes. And like I said before, this information will be revisited throughout the quarters, things of that nature, to ensure that it's still lined up. Now, in this case here, I have the sales core process, and then I have the steps here, lead generation, headed by Jim in this location, to have the description there. So everyone knows exactly who to reach out to when it comes to this particular information. And this person is solely accountable for updating this particular process. So when the time comes, they can click view details and add additional information, including KPIs to this particular process, really building it out and bringing clarity to the whole entire organization to follow. And like I say, whole organization too as well, because I don't know if you know, but you have certain seats permissions. You have the observers all the way up into the owners and admins. Observers are free users on the account, but they do have access to the process, to the accountability tool. So they'll be able to view that information and go to the appropriate party when necessary. Someone's asking how to add those permissions. So if you're going to add permissions to that specific user, you will go into the directory here. So right below the process, there's the directory feature. When I click there, it'll have everyone in your directory now. When you click add people, you can invite them to the company, and then you're going to give them a specific role. So just keep in mind, owners, admins, managers, and team members, these are the paid seats. If I come down to the observer, those are the free seats. You can have as many free seats as you can if you want. So I definitely encourage you to bring everyone into the software in the organization, at least as an observer at the minimum. That way they can have access to this information, and that transparency won't be lost throughout the organization. Let's see here. Is there a good resource to help us develop our scorecard? Just backing out a little bit. So as far as the scorecard is concerned, we do have briefs available for you to utilize within our software. So remember that chat bubble in the bottom right-hand corner here. When you click there, this allows you to get overviews of the tools. So be the tutorials, step-by-step directions on how to execute tasks, and also briefs. That's going to be a really good resource for you all. I'll leave this as a note and show you exactly how to do that. But if you click on any one of these, it's going to open up another window for you. You can type into your resources here. We got these libraries, things like that, different terms that may help you understand it a little bit further. When you click into that location there, you can just type in what you're looking for. If you had a question about scorecard, just click that little magnifying glass in the top right-hand corner, type in scorecard, and some information will come up for that location. Just click enter, and then you have some details there to follow. So it'll give you a lot of information there. And again, if you do have questions that may not be answered here, use that chat bubble to talk with one of us from the support staff. They definitely have you covered. Right now, they're answering questions under 5 minutes. So whatever quick question you may have, they got you covered. But you can also have meetings with a client success manager in that case too. All right, so diving back in, where that? Boom. All right, so we've got one more question. For companies that currently do not have a process system but want to get things started, what is the most effective way to get started? Okay, so the most effective way to get started is to conduct those meetings as the best practice with the leadership team first. And this requires you to go over a list that you want to have embedded within your organization. And as a best practice, the leadership team will come up with that specific list. From there, they'll develop the LTIs, their long-term issues, and those long-term issues will essentially become rocks, right? So when it comes to a rock, it's going to be a high priority item typically, and someone's going to be accountable for updating that information and getting that process in play. So once it's in play by the end of the quarter, they should have something that's going to be active for everyone. So like I said before, my suggestion is to come up with a list with your leadership team, make sure that everyone understands that list, and also make sure that that individual who's going to be accountable for that rock and getting that process done has all the resources available to accomplish their task. All right, so let me go ahead and close this detailed out. Good questions, everyone. Thank you. Let's see here, where that process here. All right, so back in this location here, I was going over sales information, right? So again, you're going to document your information. It's going to be followed by all. If so, you're going to have a yes or no in that location. You need to change anything, just click into the view details box there. All right, so this can get really elaborate, everyone. So this is a rich text editor, so feel free to really dress this information up because it's going to be locked in place for everyone to view. So you want to make sure everyone can clearly understand what that process is entailing. So put as much detailed information into it, but also keep it as clear and concise as possible. You want to put a lot of fluff into it. You can list links in this location too as well. So you see I have a video here that's kind of linking out information to resources that may be available for everyone to utilize. Also too, keep in mind, if you are linking information out, you want to ensure that everyone has access to those specific links. So a lot of times I see individuals put in links into their processes, but it's not open to the public for that organization. So make sure you have it open up to the public for them. All right. Yep. Keep it simple philosophy. What is the best practice to keep the process short, easy, and simple? How many pages? Typically 3 to 5. All right. So it's case by case scenario. It also depends on the process itself. As a best practice, I know Jim would say, you want to keep it as clear and concise as possible. That way everyone can easily digest this information. Just think about if someone's new coming into the program, can they get this process without asking any questions? That's how simple you want to keep it. And also too, just remember, you're always going to come back to this effectiveness, right? So the effectiveness feature is going to come from the feedback that you get from everyone in your organization. Ensuring that, hey, how is this process working? Is it effective? Is everyone actually using the process? If they're not using the process for whatever reason, because that discipline has not been met just yet, it may be a break in communication. That break in communication could dislocate the collaboration between different teams because they're not following that specific process. So you always want to revisit this information, usually at the end of the quarter, to ensure that it's still active and also relevant to the organization as well. I hope that helped. All right. Coming down a little bit further, we do have a KPI there too as well, sales revenue. So the information is being listed in there. We can see the interval there too as well. So if you do have monthly metrics, quarterly metrics, you will have to create the metric in that setting for it to be displayed here too as well prior to it. I got another question here. Would you be able to share a few examples of documenting good practices? An example of a good process, I can't share it here, but I'll link some information out. We may have some in here. Let me just show you. Let me go ahead. Clicking this button here, clicking into the video overview. We got some resources here. Let's see here, bong. And then I'm gonna go ahead and type in process. See if we can find something. If not, I'll link out some information for you too as well to kind of follow in after this meeting too, so you can have the information readily available for you. But here you can download a PDF. It shows you how to create a detailed process here, the importance of the process ownership, process flow for teams and departments. And it gets really elaborate too. So let me go ahead and download a PDF for you so you can see what that looks like. So here's a PDF. It gives you some information about it, some context to it too as well. It doesn't have a process here in play. If I could find one, I'll definitely send it out to everyone so you can have that readily available in your email. You can share that out with everyone. So I'll get something for you. I want to look for it right now while I'm in this meeting. All right. So that being said, we're going to drop down here. Let me go ahead and clear some of these questions out. Okay. All right, got you covered. Done. And done. All right. So back to action. All right. So we've gone over the core process here in this location. So sales is a core process, but then again, you may have other new steps there too as well. So when you want to see those new steps, I'm gonna go ahead and close this details here, and I'm gonna hit this drop down menu to let you see the view steps in this location. So again, I was saying earlier, you have your view steps here for lead generation, and that actually trickles into other information too as well. And again, someone is accountable for uploading or holding that information relevant to the team itself, okay? So just think of it as a breakdown, right? You have your core process, which is sales, and then you have your steps that is followed, that is following the core process. And then you have the actual sub-steps that's going to be broken down into the departmental level as a process is being created. So when you think of the core process, like I said before, it's going to be created by the leadership team. In that case, that leadership team is going to create that list. LTIs will eventually be converted into rocks. And again, it's going to be associated with a specific individual who's going to be accountable for getting it done. So ensuring that those individuals understand their roles and responsibilities on the accountability chart will make this transition a little bit more easier and make it more transparent, not only for that user, but everyone else, because they know they have the capacity to do it. So that being said, you want to take your GWCs into place, get it, want it, capacity to do it, before you actually initiate that process to be started by that specific individual, okay? And again, you may not be the only one doing those particular process. So remember, you may have milestones in play that may pull someone else from another department into that specific rock to help them out with that process. But ultimately, that one person is going to be accountable, but you got to make sure that they get it, want it, and also have the capacity to do it within that time frame. Okay. Let's see here. Any questions on that at all? Doesn't look like it. All right, so let me jump back into my slide here. All right, so we went kind of over the process here, and then we have the breakdown for the core process. Like I said before, it's broken down into 3 steps, core process, steps, and then sub-steps. So think of it that way. You want to make it as simple as possible. Don't put too much information into the core process. Just say exactly what that entails, and then you break it down and make it more easily and digestible for everyone to kind of follow. Now, when it comes to the breakdown, it's easy to find. So everything, like I said, is in one centralized location. That's why I was saying before, observers, those are free users on the account, add everyone from the organization into the software. Okay, you want to empower everyone to have the way to make your processes effective. So if you need to come back for whatever reason, they're going to let you know what's going on if you ask the right questions. If, say, for example, they don't have a computer for whatever reason, you can have PDFs printed out. So to do so, it makes it look really nice and pretty. So let me go ahead and show you what that looks like. I'm gonna go back up into the process here. And here's the PDF button here to follow. So if you click into that button, it will print you out a document that you can easily distribute to everyone, have it pushed into a book for those of you who have your processes in a book. Let's go ahead and let that information load up real quick. There it is right there. So it breaks itself down to its core process. Here's marketing. I don't have any information in that, but here's that sales. So it makes it look nice and neat for you. It does have the links in there that are clickable, but if you do print them out, of course, you can't click them. That being said, it does have the sub-steps that's going to be following the information, and also the owner of each one of those processes. So you can really push this as a physical device. You can have an electronic device too as well. So you do have some options there when it comes to distributing this information to the whole entire organization. All right. So like I said before, you want to make it as easy as possible to find and make sure that you hold someone accountable for that process. If you don't have someone available for it, you can still build it out. But eventually you're going to have to fill in that seat on the accountability chart. And once you fill out that seat, you're going to have someone who's going to be dedicated to actually making sure that process is understood by all. So if you can look here at my example here, it is no one in this seat. If I did want to add someone to it, I just pull in directly from the accountability chart, and I could put them directly into that particular location if necessary. But it's going to be a two-way conversation. So you want to talk with that individual. And like I said before, we have your quarterly conversations, maybe do a fit check on the individual. You're going to ensure that they get it, want it, and also have the capacity to do it. All right. Let's see here. What else we got here? All right. So, and also too, a lot of times it's not sitting on someone's desk. Sometimes processes can get lost. And they're never adhered to because they're sitting on someone's desk. If you work in remote, just sitting in someone's house, it's now lost on someone's hard drive, things like that. So you want to make sure that it's going to be easy to find. And like I said before, you want to assign someone on that process and always give feedback to ensure that that process is aligning with their accountability. So going back into these, let's see here, the responsibilities chart in my case here, we have the information built out. Everyone knows their roles and responsibilities. And you can always take it to another level with that individual by clicking into the pencil itself and adding additional information to the description to ensure that they have the capacity to do it. You want to ensure that they're going to have the resources available to be committed to getting that process complete. Okay. All right. So that's it for that. Let's go back to my slide here. Any questions, comments, concerns? Comments? Nope, nothing yet. All right, so here's the question section here. We have a question coming in. Let's see here. Are there any known bottlenecks or challenges? Yeah, so when it comes to the process, like bottlenecks or challenges that may be accompanied by your organization, a lot of times there's always like 3 or 4, maybe 5 in some cases. Maybe someone could chime in and give them some thoughts there. But I know a lot of people are resistant to change. And it's crucial to address any type of concerns or fears related to the change and emphasize the benefits of the new process. So in most cases, when people are resistant to change, it's going to be, you want to provide training and also support to ensure that employees understand the purpose and also the value of the process and why everyone needs to follow it. And speaking of following, it's going to be a lead by example type thing. So, sometimes you may ensure if you know the process is available, hey, refer to the process and let me know what you think. And they may answer their own question. So, sometimes you got to force your hand in that case to make sure that everyone is adhering to the new changes there. And that being said, if you have inadequate resources, that can be another bottleneck that may be hindering you guys from moving forward with the process. So ensure that everyone has the ability and also the resources to manage the process, get it moving forward, and also have the capacity to actually knock it out. We are struggling to manage the issues list. Do you have any strategies that could be helpful to share? So in general, when you're managing the issues list, a lot of times issues are built in through the meetings itself. And sometimes that's not the best case scenario because remember, issues are going to be a team effort. So if I go into my account here, you may notice here, there's no issues on my 90 page. Going into the IDS section, you see all your issues here listed in this location. Now, I have a lot of issues. I have issues like magazines, everybody. That being said, anyone and everyone can create an issue. And issues may be blockers that may be hindering you from moving forward. Questions that you want to address within the organization. Whatever the case may be, you're bringing it to a specific meeting, a specific level 10 meeting, weekly meeting. You're bringing it to that location, and as a team, you're going to determine if this is an issue for that particular team. If not, it may be cascaded to another team in that case. But issues are derived from anything. If you don't have a to-do completed within a specific time frame, say, for example, I go into my 90 page here. I know I have a to-do here to complete. Right now, it is due today. If that didn't get completed, we now have an issue that we need to discuss. If you have a high priority item like a rock in place, right? Like we're looking at these company rocks here. If I uncheck one of these milestones here that's associated with that company rock, it is now late. So that could be a clear indication to not only me, but my organization, my team, that rock is off track. So something's not right here. If you have a milestone off track and your rock is on track, we have an issue to discuss there because something's not lining up. So we want to bring that information to the team, address it if necessary, and then we start building our issues list from there. And now keep in mind, you can bring any issues to your team. And anytime you do create an issue, click create there. It's going to go directly into the short-term issues list. It may not always be a short-term issues list. So if you can't address it this particular quarter, we're not going to burn so much time in our IDS section trying to do that. We're going to go directly and push it into the long term. And you know what? We can keep this on later. Let's go ahead and push it there for now. And then if we want to address anything, we can come back to it at the end of the quarter, see if it's still relevant. So issues are derived from anything. I hope I answered your question. I feel like I was rambling a little bit, but have as many issues as possible. If you don't have any issues, that's usually an issue in itself. All right. And encourage people to create issues, it's good to have those icebreakers, those one-on-one conversations with those individuals. Oh, that's the problem. We have too many issues. Okay. So if you do have too many issues, I would suggest as a best practice, really establishing what the issue is and addressing it as such. So remember, when it comes to your issues, you can prioritize them. You may have this feature activated here where it kind of prioritizes issues. So you're going to have guidelines that you may want to follow in regards to that issue. And this may require you to create a process for that. So you may have a process for creating issues for a specific team, department, whatever the case may be. But here, you hit the drop-down menu 1 through 5. Usually in our case, 5 is the highest priority. And then we kind of trigger the information down to what's going to be relevant for the team. And sometimes prior to the meeting, you can kind of condense information too as well. Is it really an issue? Can it be combined with another issue? And then you just prioritize the issues from there. And when you get to the level 10 meeting itself, if you see yourself with quite a few 5s in some locations, you can use the 1, 2, 3 method to prioritize it and address the issues that are going to be the priority for that particular week. And if the issue doesn't get addressed within that time frame, they will be waiting for you next week, and it'll be up to the team to decide whether or not it's going to be an issue. So in this case, I would suggest, having a strong facilitator in your meeting, and that strong facilitator can determine people going on tangents is not relevant to that particular team. And then kind of spearhead, okay, this is the issue that we need to resolve right now in relation to maybe our vision traction organizer, things like that. I'll see some resources on issues too as well, so you can have that or have that in your inbox. And if you want to talk about it further, we can definitely have that conversation. But just keep in mind, I am not an implementer or a coach. I am a software trainer. So I'm giving you the best practice. So that's what I've seen people do in cases like that where they have too many issues, kind of like, Sports Illustrated or whatever. We've got a lot of issues here. All right. Let's see here. Where was that? We was talking about bottlenecks. There's one where I wanted to mention too. And what was it? I think it was lack of clarity. All right. So when it comes to, go back to it. One-on-ones. No, not one-on-one process. Okay. So when it comes to your process, lack of clarity can play a vital is muy malo. It's very bad if everyone doesn't understand what's going on there. So this can happen if there's a lack of understanding or alignment amongst team members in regarding their roles, responsibilities, and also desired outcomes. So to overcome this bottleneck, it is important to facilitate and have open, transparent communication that's going to clearly define the roles and expectations and regularly review and update the process as needed. This goes back to your accountability chart too, because those are one of the same. So you really can't establish a process without establishing the roles and responsibilities for that person accountable for that process. So like I said before, just go back to the GWCs. If they can't handle it, maybe they have a sub or a direct report that may be assisting with that particular process. So everyone can kind of grab a piece, but it will also bring clarity to everyone to ensure that we understand exactly what's going on along with that process. Okay. All right. So I have some homework for to do in regards to, providing certain tools and tips. Any other questions? We got we got about 15 minutes here left. any other questions in regards to it, this pretty much sums up this mastery course here. Anything relative to software, anything about anything, I got you covered. Feel free to ask those. If not, we'll be conducting these mastery programs, our mastery webinars every third Thursday of the month. So feel free to chime in on that. It should be more fun. Someone got married today, so we're just having a good old time, celebrating that. I'm not, but they are. So hopefully we have a better audience for you all next time. I'm rambling a little bit. Anyway, any questions, comments, concerns before I let you all go? All right. So if not, I'm going to see some information out here shortly. This information will be available on our channel. So once everything is rendered, I'm going to upload this information up to this to YouTube, and I'll send you out those links too as well. And you can view all the past mastery courses that we've conducted here. So thank you all for the great questions that you got coming in. Definitely appreciate it. Other than that, have a great rest of your week, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.